Ludmila Praslova is Director of Research in Industrial and Organizational Psychology at Vanguard University in Southern California, and a leading authority on neurodiversity and inclusion in the workplace. Her work in diversity, equity, and inclusion is widely followed and has been featured in the Society of Human Resource Management blog, as well as Fast Company and the Harvard Business Review.
My field has always been diversity. Actually, even when I was back in college, I started working in global diversity. I was 19. So I worked in diversity my entire life.
Dr. Praslova has been studying psychology for decades, but her interest in neurodiversity only recently became more than academic.
Officially, I've been diagnosed with being autistic. I'm pretty sure I have dyspraxia because it's obvious. I just always been really bad with doing things with my hands, but it also kind of overlaps with many characteristics of autism that it very often co-occurs. And then, like a lot of women, I've been misdiagnosed with all kinds of things. So for many years, I was diagnosed with depression, except medication made me worse. And that is a very typical thing. So women are very often misdiagnosed with depression or anxiety, but it actually could be due to just how you are treated when you are autistic by society that creates a variety of just social issues. So then most people develop some form of complex PTSD because a lot of neurodivergent people, especially people who are undiagnosed, experience a lot of trauma.
As a psychologist, Praslova knew that 15 to 20% of the population is neurodiverse, but she had never counted herself among that number.
The way psychology is taught, specifically with neurodiversity, it was very hard to recognize myself in all those official descriptions.
Her left brain didn't know what the right brain was doing.
My light bulb actually went on when I started reading specifically about female autistics, because what is described in typical textbooks is a 4-year-old or 8-year-old boy. And so I was always wondering, okay, so I know I have extreme sensory sensitivities. And I never learned to drive well. I drive, but it's pretty sad. So I don't go on freeways, for example. But it just didn't quite connect with those descriptions. But when I started looking specifically at research on autistic women and specifically late diagnosed women, it's like, okay, well, that makes a lot of sense.
Her biggest revelation was in finally being able to put a name to a challenge she'd struggled with her entire life.
My parents did not have very good words for my dyspraxia, so their way of expressing it was that my hands grow out of my behind. It was actually a worse word that they were using. And so they made it really feel pretty useless because what they valued is physical things. They really didn't value that, I taught myself college history when I was 8. It's just like, whatever. So it just wasn't something that in this particular social economic environment and this particular context was valued. It was all about, playing sports.
She and her parents never did fully see eye to eye, which is why she had this to say to parents who might be watching this now.
Focusing on your child holistically and focusing on their joy and happiness and whatever strengths they have that could then bring them a fulfilling occupation is definitely something that requires sitting back and saying, okay, this person is not me. They do not have the same strengths that I do. And very often parents just parent their children the way they wish they had been parented, which is fantastic, but their child is not them. So platinum rule, not the golden rule. Don't treat them as you wish you were treated. Treat them as they wish they were treated, and they are not you.
For a world of difference, I'm Brad Kuhn.